I think the mark of like a really strong friendship is like if you can sit in silence and still feel comfortable. I think if you can do that, then you've got yourself like you've got a really deep relationship with that person. Because like most, I just said like anyway.
Yeah.
With most people, the silence is always so awkward because you feel like there should be something there. It's a gap. That's the problem. Ooh, Mustang. The Mustang completely threw my train of thought.
I feel like there should be a gap.
Yeah, there should be. Yeah, exactly. Not that there should be a gap, but there should be something within that gap. And the gap makes people uncomfortable. I don't know what the psychology is on that, but yeah, a lot of people. I think it's starting off. It's just that way.
It's probably heavily contributed by social media because most social media we see is short form, and people are just our attention spans. I can't remember what the statistic was, but our generation since the last generation has like a 1.7 second difference in when we get bored or something. And it was a small number, but I heard that it was the biggest jump in generation ever of losing attention span.
Yeah.
And I wish I could explain it better, but I would go to say, gosh, I just blew that sentence so hard. But what you were saying with how a good friendship can be seen by the ability to have silence, I would also say that podcast confidence can be described as your ability to let silence go. Whereas if I ask you a question, I'm always aware of the audience and I want to make the best possible product for them. So if I feel like you're going to take 10 minutes to give a response, then I'm going to jump in and try to help them. But at the same time, I think the best podcasters know that if you're making a great show, you can let areas of silence sit. Areas of silence actually are a signal that you've asked a really great question, that someone needs to sit there and think about it. And I would say, as well as being the speaker, it's the same goes for the answerer. If you're the responder and you are just so eager to get out a question because you don't want the audience to think you're stupid or that you're taking forever to answer, the person who has confidence will sit there and go, I can wait 20 seconds and give a way better answer than, you know, and I find that the people who talk slower and are willing to put more gaps in their speech are the ones who have accomplished more and are more articulate. And I think that's because they've had that insecurity patched up by their achievements and stuff. So they feel that they can have room to speak. And I'm thinking about like Lex Friedman and Joe Rogan and these people that are just so, they're just so casual and nonchalant, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the whole like attention span thing is interesting. I don't remember where I saw this, but somebody was making the point, we were rather questioning the whole idea of if we actually are losing our attention span. And I'll try and give like kind of a crude example. It's like TikTok is obviously the main example of like, this is like the prime example of losing our attention span. But if you're thinking about like us right now sitting in the car, I'm driving while talking at the same time. So it's not necessarily that I have a longer attention span than somebody else, but I'm still looking at all sorts of different things all around. So it's not necessarily, I don't know if it's necessarily the attention span is going down. It's like different parts of me are being captivated in certain ways. And so on TikTok, it would be everything is on my phone for that one video. But here it's my brain is partially focused on driving and what I see ahead, and partially also listening to you, and then also processing that so that I can give a response.
So is what you're trying to say, correct me if I'm wrong, is that maybe the issue isn't attention spans, but it's a matter of stimulants. And so when you're on TikTok, all your stimulants are in one area, so it's quicker to move on rather than right now you might look like you have a really good attention span, but actually you're thinking about the road, you're thinking about the camera, and you're thinking about our conversation. So it.
Yes, that's more what I'm getting at.
That's interesting. I don't know because I'm not a scientist. I can't really speak on it.
I don't know either. I find that so interesting. I remember somebody was talking about that. I can't remember who it was.
My one counter argument to that statement, though, would be, how many times have you had a friend in our era, people our age, who has been like, I have ADHD, or you have ADHD, or we all have ADHD. ADHD is almost a daily talking point, at least where I'm from.
Yeah.
Whereas I can not imagine that anyone in our parents' era, except for people who really genuinely had ADHD, was running around saying like, I have ADHD. And I feel like, why is that the case? And I think it's the case because our attention spans have decreased, so everyone just attributes
that could be. But I'm going to counter that. And what if that is... This is going to start getting a little bit almost conspiracy theory-like, but the whole medical industry makes money off of selling drugs.
Dude, you're getting next level right here.
So the whole thing, this is kind of generally agreed upon that ADHD at this point has been kind of overdiagnosed for most people. Like there's more people who are claim to have ADHD than likely actually have ADHD.
Oh, that's for sure.
And I would guess it's, to some extent, not all, but to some extent due to doctors diagnosing them in order to sell ADHD medication.
Dude, I didn't think about that, and I really believe there's a possibility that was right. And so I guess we won't know. And the truth is, it's most likely a combination.
It's going to be a combination of everything,
But it is interesting to think which one is more prevalent.